All right, I wanted to talk to you quickly about how to adjust the trigger on this Tikka T1X 22 long rifle. I actually shot it originally without even knowing that it had an adjustable trigger, so I wanted to change this stock for a wood stock, so I wanted to see how much heavier the wood was going to be than this plastic. So I pulled the stock off and weighed it, and then while I had it off, I noticed there was an adjustment screw on the trigger. I double checked the manual, and yep, lo and behold, it's got an adjustable trigger. So I want to show you how to do it and how to check for safe and everything. The manual recommends not going below 2 pounds for safety. I've got it about 1.5 pounds, and it seems to be pretty safe. So this is basically how you do it. You got to remove the magazine, or else it won't come out of the stock. And use a 4mm Allen on the rear and the front action screws here. I'm using a fix-it stick here, but you can use just about anything. And then once these two screws come out, the action can be taken from the stock here. There are 2 different size bolts. You'll see when you get there. Got a short one for the front, got a long one for the rear, but pretty simple other than that. So once you got that, you can pull the action from the stock, and you will see the little screw right here. You're going to use a 2.5 millimeter Allen. Goes in, and if you turn it clockwise, it makes the trigger pull heavier. If you turn it counterclockwise, it'll make the trigger pull lighter. And as you can see here, it's just before the touching the shoulder of the screw that holds the trigger into the receiver. And that you can go a little bit further out and it will get lighter. I got it down to about 1 pound, but I'll show you what it was doing when it was down at 1 pound. So I think this is roughly 1.5 pounds right now. So I'm just going to use a cheapy Lyman trigger pull gauge here and just double check it before I put it all back together, kind of where it's at. 1 pound 7 ounces, so just shy of 1.5 pounds. I'll reset it, just try one more time here. 1 pound 5 ounces, so a little bit lighter. Just make sure it's not too light. It seems like 1 pound did work. There's 1.9 or 1 pound 9 ounces, so I'm okay with that. So it's hovering around 1.5 pounds. You could see it's already got Loctite on the screw, so I'm not gonna mess with it, but that's basically where I got it to be about 1.5 pounds. There are a couple companies that sell trigger springs. I might try those in the future, but I'm going to show you what I did to realize that 1 pound on this particular gun was a little bit too light. So basically put it back in the stock. Put your bolts back in. Long one goes in the rear again. Shorty up front. 4mm Allen. Remember, this gun is European, so everything's in millimeters. And then what you're gonna do, I'm gonna set it with a torque wrench here. I think factory is 40 inch-pounds a piece. And once I put it in a wood stock, I think I'm going to play with this torque setting and just see what accuracy can be gained by playing with the torque settings. I've seen people go all the way down to 20 inch-pounds front and rear, and but that's a test for another day. So I'm just gonna torque her back up. If you're just testing it, you may not want to torque it right away. Just wait till it's you know that we've done the safety check that we're gonna do in a second here. Okay, so I'm pretty confident there's 40 inch-pounds. Everything's good there. But what I noticed, if I was not careful, if you run the bolt fast and hard, kind of really slamming it home, what I noticed is that this little cocked indicator would actually just immediately reset like it was fired. So there's your fired state. It would do that as soon as you close the bolt. So that tells me that the sear engagement isn't enough and it's just slipping over there under hard use. That's not a gun you want to have out in the field. So You just kind of have to play with it, test it. Just make sure you feel confident with it in the field before you get it out there, that it's not going to fail on you. So 1.5 pounds for me seems pretty ideal. I guess this might be one of those cases where every gun's a little bit different, but let's see what it actually is on the gauge in the gun. Might be slightly different. 1 pound, 5.6 ounces. 1 pound, 7.7. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Just under 1.5 pounds. But that is how you adjust your Tikka T1X factory trigger.